What's up, family? I'm making this video to remind you not to lose your inner child. Okay? Remember who you were first. You were that kid. You were that fun-loving, hopeful, faithful, confident child who was going to conquer the world, and you still are that. It's funny. I'm 39 years old, and I look pretty young for my age, and I really think a big part of that is because I don't lose that inner child within. You know, sometimes people can take that for weakness, and you got to show them that you're a grown ass motherfucking. You got to show them that you're an adult. But other than that, that's just people, that you got to, just remind them and then move on from them. But don't lose your inner child, man. That inner child has the faith that you need to ascend and move forward. See, as adults, we get jaded, as we grow up, and through school systems and everything, and you get too realistic, and you lose that twinkle or that spark that you had when you was a kid. Everybody had big dreams when they were children, and it might not at all, some of them came to fruition, some of them didn't, but you're still that child. A lot of times that inner child needs to be healed, so you don't want to forget about it. I went to the lake with my girl a couple of weeks ago, and I was, jumping in the water and diving and, just having a good time, and I came out the water, and she's like, you are nothing but a big kid. And I said, yes, I am, and I'm 6'7", 245, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm a big ass kid. And the next time we went to the lake, she said, she didn't say anything about today. She's like, I want to be a big kid too. I want to jump in the water. And I said, go ahead, babe. And she jumped in, and we went down. We went to another water park with my children for my daughter's birthday, and she went down the slide and the water slide and everything, and then just everybody had a good time. And I just wanted to remind people, do not lose that inner child, because that inner child has the faith that you need to, to receive your dreams. That inner child is more open to listening. Why you think young people are targeted the most? Because they have the most rebel spirit in them. It's the young people that'll fight for what's right. It's the young people that'll get out in the streets and march and speak up for what's right. That's why young people are targeted so much. Young people are targeted through the military. Young people are targeted through laws and crimes, because they know that the young spirit is the spirit of change. It's the spirit of growth. It's the spirit of God. So, as adults, we kind of lose that because we're just in survival mode. We're just, wanting to, keep it as stable as possible. But you got to remember, if either you play the game or the game played you. And who plays games the best? Children. So don't lose that inner child. You need that part of you, because that part of you will always be with you. You were a child before you was an adult. And don't get me wrong, you're an adult for a lot longer, but, adults ain't nothing but grown children for the most part. That's why they make stupid mistakes a lot, And we do some great things as well, but the greatest thing that we can do is what? Raise our children. Teach the youth. The children are the future. I don't hear that anymore. I used to hear that all the time when I was younger. I'm an 80s baby, so I remember how things used to be before all this craziness, And I remember everybody, all the celebrities be, I love the kids. I love the kids. And children are the future. And there's a whole song to it. Children have and let them lead the way. You know what I'm saying? And we don't emphasize that. Now it's F them kids. Think about that. Before it was I love the kids, children are the future. Now the saying is F them kids. This is where we've come in our society. And it's not our fault, all the way, but we got to stop being influenced by the evils and the darkness of this world that is, it sounds funny, but, the reason why jokes are funny is because there's truth within them. So they're really saying F them kids. And parents are acting like that. You know what I mean? Having children young ain't change. Having children young their whole life. That doesn't mean you neglect your child because you had children at a young age. People been having children young since the beginning of time. That ain't no excuse, you know. But and that goes back to your inner child, because a child is loving, a child is caring. And we lose that sometimes as adults when we get into this world of survival of the fittest, you know? But we got to remember, God provides for us. You don't provide for you, God provides for you. Whatever you gotten, whatever you achieved, you got it from God. You got it from God working through you, or God working through somebody else. So don't lose that understanding or overstanding that you are here because of God's grace and mercy. Because you are a divine being in the mind of God. And God loves you. And guess what God loves you as? His child. So please, don't forget your inner child. Don't forget your humanity. Don't forget your humility. Don't forget your love as you go through this world and you grow. Thy will be done. I love y'all. Stay young. Forever young. Forever young. I wanna be forever young.